Good evening, everyone. You're welcome to the Faith and Finance Conference. I pray that this shall indeed be the life-changing moment you've been praying for. Many of us have lived with questions, wanted answers so much, so desperately over the course of the year. Years have passed, but yet there is no satisfactory answer. And that is the primary reason why the Faith and Finance Conference is being held. Do I have to become less spiritual to become wealthier? Invite any of your friends right now that you care about their finances. Send this live to them. Share it to your friends and your family. Even those that are not too close to you, just share it to everyone because value is about to be released with power. The speakers are set for this first day, the first session. And I'm sure that by the grace of God, I'm trying to also share to some of my friends personally, my WhatsApp and in all my communities, because I do not want anyone that I care about to miss out from what will be shared today, Faith and Finance Conference. It all started with me having a question that I kept telling myself, can I build or buy or own a 1.2 billion naira house in Lagos, Lagos, that was I would say that has been my question so far. That, okay, can I actually get enough money to own a house, a 1.2 billion naira house? And I genuinely never got satisfactory answers, sincerely. Like I asked pastors, I asked brothers in the faith, I asked people that I could talk to. I kept asking them one question. Can I buy a Lamborghini Urus? Can I make enough money to be able to afford a Lamborghini Urus? But I never seem to get satisfactory answers. This became frustrating. It became frustrating. It became very frustrating. Our first speaker is already here. Welcome, Praise Adeola. Good to have you here. If I told myself that one thing I would not do, one thing I'll make sure I don't do in my time as someone of influence is to not paint this thing as though it is magic. Becoming wealthy as a Christian is nothing like it's not magic. It's not magic in any way at all. It's not it's not a just overnight thing. Like because growing up, many faith leaders paint it as though it is magical, just pay your tithes, give your friends, give to the poor, and boom, that's it, that's all. Or just trust God and your finances will be settled, and that's all. Like vain promises, to be honest, vain promises that don't exist and won't lead you anywhere. If you are listening to me and you can hear me clearly, can you say I in I want you to say I in the comments, please. Say hi in the comments. I need to be sure that someone is with me right now. Say hi in the comments. I'm checking here. I need to be sure that we're together and we're at the same pace, on the same pace. Say hi in the comments. If you are with me, please say hi in the comments. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm saying that. I'm saying that. I'm saying that. Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I'm seeing that. That means I have at least one person that is with me. Okay. I have welcome Emmanuel. Welcome Oladeji Francisca. Welcome John. Welcome Cynthia. Welcome. Welcome. Okay, now I'm sure that someone's with me. I told myself, I said, I will make sure that I do not walk in the path of those who have gone ahead of me, giving vain promises. If we are going to teach about wealth, we have to teach with practical steps that anyone, no matter who you are, no matter what you're currently doing, no matter your level of education, if you apply these steps, you will get results because principles do not discriminate. Principles do not discriminate. So if you apply these steps, you will get results no matter who you are, no matter who you are, educated or not educated. If you apply the steps that will be taught in this conference, you will get results. So that is my goal for Faith and Finance Conference. That let us make this thing so easy. Let us make it a step-by-step thing that anyone from anywhere in the world can apply these principles and get results. Why? Because principles do not discriminate. No matter who you are, if you add two with two, you will get four. No matter who you are, if you say two, you take two fingers and another two fingers, it becomes four fingers. If you are black, white, brown, whatever your race or color is. Why? Principles do not discriminate. So if anyone will learn the ways of wealth, you will get results. You will get results. The difference between where you are right now and where you plan to be or where you wish to be is knowledge. The difference between where you are right now and where you want to be is knowledge. If you know what you need to know to get to where you're going, you will get there in no time. You will get there in no time. Like in essence, I'm saying if for example, let me try and make it a little bit more practical. If I know that to cook a good jollof rice, I should use less fresh pepper instead of paste, like pepper paste. Just an example. I'm not saying this is like very true, yeah. The day I know that I should not use the paste but use fresh pepper, that is the day my journey to being a good cook starts. That is the day my journey to being a good cook starts. Why? Because I now know better. Sometimes when you practice, you don't get better. Practice doesn't necessarily make it get better. You can be practicing like the same thing over the years. If you don't learn how to do it better, you won't get better. So it is not enough to just blindly practice upon practice. See, there's a definition we all see on the internet. It's a very popular quote that the what is called insanity is doing the same thing over time and expecting a different result. It will not happen. Wealth is not magical. Wealth is not a trial and error thing. There are principles you must follow. I'm saying this thing from a place of pain because I've experienced it. You can't wish your way into prosperity. You must do something different. You must change your approach. For any of us that have played mobile games a lot, maybe not a lot, but you played mobile games in the past growing up. If there is any particular level you can't seem to break through, if you keep fighting that level the same way, you will keep, in quote, failing that level. You must change an approach. This reminds me of memories of Assassin's Creed, Prince of Persia in those days, Splinter Cell, Java phones. Then there is a way to beat that particular area boss. There's a way to beat that boss. If you don't know the way, you will just keep trying and keep trying and keep trying and keep trying. Sometimes try and error can work, but I mean the stress is too much. Imagine trying and trying and trying, and then you keep trying, when there's a way to get things done. So what would you rather do? Learn the ways to get things done or keep doing trial and error? For how long? Imagine having to do trial and error till you become 30, 40, 45, 50. You can't you can't get it right at 50. That's late already. That means you will struggle till 50. No, that's not the life I want for you. Like, I want you to do something for me right now. Tell me in the comments that I want wealth and I want it fast. If you're still with me, I want you to tell, like, if in fact, you can tell me how fast you want it. Like, I want it now. I want wealth and I want it now. Let me see those who are still with me on this. I want wealth and I want it now. I want wealth and I want it now. I need to be sure you're still with me. I want wealth and I want it now. Let me see. Let me see. Like, tell me how much you want it. Because until you change your approach, sometimes life will not give you what you wish for. Life will give you what you fight for. I want wealth and I want it now. Life will give you what you fight for, not what you wish for and say, one day, it go better. No, no. You must fight for it. We have our first speaker. This person is someone that we're friends, but I look up to her so much. She'll be coming up first tonight to give us so much value. So much value. I mean, to be so much, you will know that this should not be free. You would know that no, this should not be free. I met her a long time ago. We've been friends since we were children, like in children's church back then. No, we're not friends, sorry. We've known each other. Yes, that's the way to say it. We've known each other since children's church. Then we became friends, then we became adults. When we realized that we have similar mindsets, so much in common. How when we now grew to become friends. She's a brilliant speaker, a brilliant coach. I would love to read out her biography to you because I, I he took me more like a presentation to convince her to be here tonight. That I need you to come and dish out value to my people. I need you to just be here tonight live. She's someone I look up to when it comes to finance. She understands it so much because she has even been in the system. Please listen attentively to what I will read about her now. I want your attention. Praise Adeola, widely known as the Purple Writer, is a seasoned banker, financial literacy educator, and entrepreneur passionate about transforming lives through financial empowerment and education. She specializes in equipping undergraduates, business owners, and professionals with the tools and strategies they need to master their finances, develop a wealth building mindset, and achieve financial independence. As the founder and lead financial consultant of Digital Finance Hub, Praise has trained and mentored hundreds of leaders and professionals across over 10 countries, offering actionable insights into making, managing, and multiplying money. Over the past 4 years, she has worked with professionals, CEOs, and business leaders to create tailored financial plans that drive both personal and business growth. Through our online community, the Financial Literacy Club, Praise has impacted over 7,000 undergraduates, entrepreneurs, and professionals across Nigeria and Africa at large, fostering a generation of financially savvy individuals Our expertise and engaging delivery have earned us speaking opportunities on prestigious platforms such as TEDx, Covenant University, New Era University, and Business Daily News. In addition to our financial advocacy, Chris is the creative force behind in in his light print and publishing, a brand and merchandise, a brand and merchandise company that designs and customizes wearables for individuals and organizations, enhancing brand awareness and visibility. Beyond finance and business, Chris is an accomplished author and writer. Through a blog, the Purple Writer Medium.com, she shares transformative insights on faith, career development, personal growth, and finance, earning her a recognition as a compelling voice in both literary and financial spheres. An alumna of the prestigious Bells University of Technology, where she earned an honors degree in economics. Chris also holds certifications in product management, digital marketing, and financial management. Her diverse expertise positions her as a thought leader at the intersection of finance, personal development, and entrepreneurship. I mean, that's a lot. Well, see, let me show you this. Like, I have my journal. No, I'm not using phone to type. Oh. Journal. My pen is here. My journal is here. Grab yours too. So, Praise, are you online? Are you active? Are you here now? Already for you.
Hi, Michael. Yes, I am with you.
All right. All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Okay. Should I go ahead and
Yes, you
unmute?
can.
Okay.
You can.
And
You can go
start
ahead.
my video.
Yes, you can, please.
All right. Hi. Can you see me?
Yes, yes, I can.
Okay. Sorry. Give me a moment. Let me. And please also do confirm that members of your audience can also see and hear me. I mean, I think that's very important before I actually start.
Actually, I guess you should ask us a question or something. Ask us if we can hear you. So then I'll be
Okay.
first to reply though.
Hi guys. If you can hear me and you can also see me clearly, please kindly leave a comment in the comment section that you can actually see and hear me, so that he would revert. Okay. Thank you, Daniel. I know that this is streamed on YouTube, so Michael, you just let me know if comments are coming in that they can hear me. I mean, if I get like two more persons or one more person, I would just kick off.
Okay, okay. I mean, I left a comment. Then Emmanuel left a comment. Ishola Oluwa left a comment. So we have about, okay, Francisca left a comment also. We have about five comments already. People
Okay,
are
so
with
they
you.
can see and hear me. Okay. Um, Hello everyone. It's a pleasure to be here at the Faith and Finance Conference. Thank you, Michael, for inviting me and you know giving me the privilege and the opportunity to share my not just my knowledge but also my experience in building wealth. I first of all want to say another big thank you to Michael also, because like he said, we've known ourselves for a while. Honestly, I can't even exactly pinpoint when. To be honest, I think when you mentioned children's church, right? Um, I think I think it should have been then. Yeah, I believe that, and I am so happy that from then to now we are still in communication, and not just in communication, that we have a good relationship, and like you mentioned, we have things in common. And I just want to use the opportunity to say how much, Michael, I'm proud of you, to be honest. Like you say, you look up to me. I equally look up to you, right? You are doing an amazing work. I mean, anybody here that doesn't know, Michael is the CEO, Chief Executive Officer of MBA, right? It's is his clothing company, so he makes customized suit. I mean, the first time I saw it, I was like, wow, that this is something. And also, when you hear Michael speak, it's always full of depths and the wisdom of God, like someone that, you can evidently say and see the wisdom of God in his life. So, once again, Michael, thank you for the opportunity, and I'm sure that each and every one of us here um, would have a wonderful session. Okay. I think I've been introduced, right? I don't need to introduce myself because it was one of my plans, right? To introduce myself. So just to reiterate, my name is Praise Adeola, and I am a finance educator, right? And I'm really happy that I'm speaking in this conference. The reason why is that faith is involved. I mean, I've spoken in different platforms and I really appreciate those opportunities. But when you are speaking in a corporate setting, right? There is a limit to some certain things you can say. Of course, me, wherever it is I go, I'm always very loud about my faith. I'm very loud about I am a Christian and a believer, right? And I am an ambassador of Christ Jesus, right? I'm always loud about it. But in a corporate setting, you just have to focus on the topic that has been given to you, right? So I'm happy that I can finally, right, teach an audience how to inculcate um biblical principles in building wealth, right? Let me just quickly share my story. So I've been a finance educator for, I think, about 5 to 6 years now. And honestly, the journey didn't just start like, oh, I woke up one morning and I said, this is what I want to be doing for the rest of my life. No, I didn't, right? And it wasn't just because I was also studying economics in the university. What had happened is, funny story actually. My dad gave me my school fees to pay in my final year, right? And I had the opportunity, of course, to pay my school fees. It was not the first time he had given me my school fees to pay. So I I was to pay the school fees, but during that period, before I paid it, that's before we resumed, I was at home, and then I was on Twitter, now called X. I I think someone messaged me, right? An organization messaged me, and they were advertising a product to me, an investment product, and they were like, if I'm to put X amount of money into their organization, it was an investment platform, that I was going to get like an exponential ROI. I think if I was to put, like, for example, 30,000 naira, I was going to get like 300,000. And I was like, really? Money, wow, okay. This is my opportunity to be wealthy in quotes, right? And then I was still skeptical about the whole thing, and then I asked them that they should give me like a certificate that proves that they are licensed to do this investment, as I should. At least I had a little bit of knowledge that you must be licensed for this. So they sent me their CAC certificates, right? And you know what, I was like, okay, these guys are legit. And then I gave them a part of my money. Thank God for God, right? Thank God for God that I didn't give them the entire school fees. So I just gave them like a part. And then when I gave it to them, they were like, "Ah, okay, I'm going to get my money in the next 3 days." I was so excited. I was already thinking of what the things I would buy. I wanted to change my laptop then. I wanted to change my wardrobe. I mean, you just name me. I wanted to buy a new phone. So many things that came to mind. Well, 3 days later, ladies and gentlemen, I believe you all know how the story ended, right? Um, I messaged them, how far my money, and they were like, "That's coming." By the second, third time I was messaging them, now they were already coming up with excuses that didn't make a lot of sense. And next, when I kept pestering them for my money, they blocked me. Right? I tried all my possible best to reach them. It just went like a, in fact, when it dawned on me that I had been scammed, I could not even cry, to be honest. I remember that day I sat down in my living room, my house, and I was just looking at the ceiling, and I was like, what have I done? What have I done? My head was rambling like, God, what have I done? But I just knew that, well, it's time to put in the work, because there is no way I am going to go and meet my father and tell him that, well, the thing you entrusted in my hand, my education, has been blown up. So I was doing business then in school. I doubled my efforts in my business, and within a few months, actually, I was able to recover the money back. But that stuck, right? That stuck with me for a long time, and I was like, I can't continue like this, right? Because I need to learn what it means to really invest money. I mean, it opened my eyes to something that there is an investment that is real. So why don't I learn about it, right? And then I started taking investment courses, started learning savings, budgeting, generally financial management. I got connected with a lot of amazing financial educators, and it became so interesting to me. And before I knew it, I was deep inside financial education. I mean, think about, you know, everything. I was already thinking, ah, God, I'm going to begin my career here. And then that's how it started for me, oh, honestly. And then eventually, it moved from just educating myself about financial management, it moved to educating others, right? I thought about all the possible scams that, especially undergraduates and recent graduates, would have experienced. So I started sharing my knowledge of financial management, investment, budgeting, savings online. I started with Instagram, moved to LinkedIn. And before I knew it, I had already started a community and everybody became involved. I mean, what started as my own personal journey, I carried people along. And even till now, the fact that I'm here right now, it shows that I'm still carrying people along. In fact, for you to be listening to me right now, it shows that you are being carried along in my journey. And also, what that experience taught me is that wealth is knowledge, and I like that Michael mentioned that, right? Wealth is knowledge. Wealth is not just about you saying you want to double your money. You must actually know what it takes, right, to make money. Now, I'm going to quickly share with you what wealth building is not, right? A lot of people say wealth, 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 wealth. When you hear wealth, what's the first thing that crosses your mind, right? You are thinking luxury cars, you are thinking big houses, mansion. In fact, basically, you are thinking Warren Buffett, Elon Musk kind of wealth, which is true in its own sense, but it's a bit dicey, and which I'll be dicing, right, in this conversation. Wealth building. What is wealth building? Wealth building is basically putting um putting money into an investment that multiplies your income, right? Or putting your income into investment, sorry, putting your income into investments that multiply your income. Basically, that's in simple terms, that is wealth. But let me tell you what wealth is not. Number one, wealth is not a quick scheme. Are you hearing me? Wealth is not a quick scheme, and I think that my experience in my final year in the university actually taught me that. So in my head, I thought that if I am to put this money and I get this return, I have this number of things I'm going to do. For me, that was wealth, and I would have continued in that manner and thinking that I am actually building wealth. But wealth is not a quick scheme. It's not something that happens in the short term, to be honest with you. In fact, I am telling you right now that I am still on my wealth creation or wealth building journey, because it's not something that will happen tomorrow. It's not something that would happen next tomorrow. It's not something that might happen next year, to be honest. It's not something that might happen in 2 years' time. Of course, you can set a plan that in the next 5 to 10 years, I want to be this wealthy, right? You would have a standard for measuring what wealth means to you, because another thing is that wealth means different things to different people. For example, let me give this. For somebody, being wealthy means that they have multiple streams of income that is working on their own, right? Probably they have courses online, they have digital products that when people pay for it, the money just automatically lands right in their bank account. For somebody else, it means that their family is financially okay, meaning that there is no struggle for money to purchase things that are needs. Maybe not so much of wants, but needs, like children going to good schools, have roof over their heads, eating food, right? It's not a problem. For somebody, that is what. For another person, it means traveling the world, right? Traveling to maybe 30 countries before they clock 30, or right, ability to work from anywhere in the world. That's somebody's definition of wealth. But one thing wealth is not, it is not short term. So meaning that at a certain period of time, maybe in the next 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, your definition of wealth, your standard of wealth, you would achieve it, right? But it's not something that can happen in a short term. So that's why you see a lot of people engaging in vices, right? You hear of Yahoo, Yahoo, you hear of a lot of vices, right? Because people think that making money or building wealth, I like to use the word building wealth, it's something that happens in the short term. Another thing that wealth building is not, it is not depending on one income. And this needs to be reiterated over and over and over again. I know a lot of people come up with things like or say things like um my income, I earn like 1 million naira, right? I'm okay, I'm building wealth and all that. But the real reason why I said wealth is not one stream of income is that on your one stream of income is your bills. On your one stream of income is your needs, your utilities, right? On your one stream of income is your wants. And the real truth is that the more you have money, the more your needs increases. In fact, you can say that if someone that was earning 200,000 or 300,000 naira at a certain period is managing the money and everything, I'll be like, I will manage this, manage my income. When the person will probably be thinking that if I should just be earning 1 million naira like this, let me just earn 1 million naira, I will shut down the country. My brother, my sister, when you finally actually start earning 1 million naira as a salary, you will not be saying that, this money is too small. What is happening? Why? Because your demands and your needs will try to match up with the money that you currently have. Because the more money you have, the more needs you have, right? At 300,000 naira, you were like, I can, manage this and all that. So that's one of the reasons why you cannot have one stream of income if you want to build wealth. Go and check or go and read the story of the top billionaires in the world. I bet it with you. What you will find is not one stream of income, right? You won't even find one stream of income. You see them having investments in different areas, like putting money in things that work. Of course, when they started their journey, right? If you go and check Jeff Bezos, their journey, Facebook, right? Meta, how it started. It started with just one thing, them doing one single thing. And when they grew that thing to a certain level that it could actually reproduce, right, they started putting money in other things and investing. I mean, I was recently checking the portfolio of Microsoft guy, Bill Gates, and I was looking at all the companies this guy had investments in. I was also checking that of Warren Buffett. In fact, Warren Buffett's one is actually the most mind blowing because Warren Buffett has been investing since the age of either 4 or 9. I think it's 4. Yeah, he has been investing since the age of 4. You can just imagine. I was checking his portfolio. I was like, truly, investment is not one stream of truly wealth building is not one stream of income, right? And another thing, wealth building is not, it's not buying luxury cars, it's not buying luxury houses. I mean, those things, yeah, if you feel like that is your preference, of course you can go for it, but then there's always a clause to things, right? If you have money and then all you are thinking of, right, is to start buying things and start, you know, spending money recklessly, it's a matter of time before things lead to penury, like the Bible says, right? So It's not about those things. In fact, I recently read The Millionaire Next Door with my community members, my book club community members. I'm pretty sure some of them might be on this call, right? And then one of the things that we learned from the book is that there is a certain lifestyle to wealth building. I mean, look at Meta, Facebook guy, Mark Zuckerberg, right? You see his lifestyle. Even Elon Musk that we look at, there is a certain, if you observe him very well, there's a certain lifestyle he has. Check Bill Gates. In fact, check the top billionaires in the world. There is a certain lifestyle to it. And another thing I want to encourage in this call quickly is that, see, just because somebody is driving a car, or the person already has built a house, or the person, maybe for the ladies, wears bone straight, or the person has an iPhone, or the person has a MacBook, or I mean the things that we use when we look at people, that we use to judge whether they are wealthy or not. Those are not the things. In fact, if you read The Millionaire Next Door, you're going to discover that most of the people that actually now have these things, have a Rolex watch, drive the latest cars, they're actually the poorest people. Because the money that they could have been put in other things that could generate income to buy those things without stressing, right? They have already spent it, right? They have already spent it in other things. So please, it's just like an encouragement. Don't don't judge based on things. They always say that don't judge a book by its cover. And I'm going to say this here. Please don't judge a person by what the person drives, what the person has, because you don't know the kind of investment that that person has. You don't know the kind of investment in stocks, even investment in people, the person's network, right? You are just judging, this guy is always wearing one shoe, or this person is always looking this way, or this person has not changed their phone, or this person has not done this, done that. You don't judge wealth by that. And I think The Millionaire Next Door taught me that. So if there's anybody here that has not read that book, I think it's going to really open your mind to what wealth building is, right? And I would quickly like to add what wealth building really is. Now, wealth building is first of all a mindset. It is first of all a mindset. Now, let me tell you why it's a mindset. There is this friend of mine that I have, I'll say I have, that has this mentality that if she sees someone that buys let's say a phone of, this is just an example, of 10 million naira, this is just an example, right? She'll be like, that's a complete waste of money. That why would someone waste money like that, blah 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 blah, and stuff like that. And then I was observing her for a while, that people are just wasting money, they are buying this, buying that, right? And then I had to tell her that it's not, the problem is not that they are wasting money, especially for people that I know that have the capacity to do that, right? I told her that I don't think you understand how this works, right? These guys can afford it. It's just your mentality, of your poverty mentality, that makes you think that. Let me tell you that if you start earning well, I mean earning a lot, probably you are in their capacity. What they are buying right now, it's going to be so insignificant in your eyes, right? Mentality. How do you view money? Now, a lot of us grew up in families, right, and households that money was always a dicey topic, right? Whether from the father's part or from the mother's part. And some of these mentalities we carry it in terms of trying to build wealth, right? A lot of people have this mentality that they can never make money from business. I mean, have you tried to do business and see that you can't actually make money from it? I mean, there are different kinds of mindsets that people have. But if you have the wrong mindset about making money, the real truth is that money can never come to your hand. I mean, sustainable wealth, not have money, salary, and then you spend money. No, sustainable wealth. What mentality do you have about money? And the best place to refine and renew your mentality about money is actually in the Bible. So if you have the wrong mindset about money, you can't actually sustainably build wealth. Another thing is that wealth is knowledge, like Michael started with, right? Wealth is knowledge. How much you can have is is limited by how much you know. If you do not know enough, you cannot actually make more. I'll give myself as an example. There's a lot of things that I have learned doing business. Like Michael mentioned, I have a printing business. I don't know if you can see my shirts that I'm wearing right now. Right, it's one of my product lines. And when I started this business, to be honest, I mean, it started like slow and everything. Then we started moving at an exponential speed. And then it taught me a lot of things about business. It taught me a lot of things. It's still teaching me a lot of things about making money, right? I mean, conversations I even have with fellow business people is teaching me a lot about wealth building. It's teaching me about how to position myself or position my product to actually make more money. And also another thing for me is books. Like I told you, I have a book club where we read books on money. And the last book that we read on money, like I mentioned, The Millionaire Next Door, right? It taught me a lot of things about wealth building. It taught me a lot of things on what to focus on and what not to focus on in my wealth building journey. So it's knowledge. The more you know, the more you have, right? And like my pastor, like my bishop will always say, Bishop David Oyedepo would always say, invest in knowledge, know more. The more you know and the more you apply, the more you have. Um, Another thing is that wealth is application. I think I already said that. Wealth is application. Knowledge is useless if it is not applied. And I think I always used to emphasize it to every person I have the chance to speak to. You can learn a lot from a book. You can learn a lot from the Bible, right? About building wealth. But if you don't sit down to apply it, you won't even have anything, to be honest. Because you can say, oh, I have all the knowledge in the world, I know a lot of things, when it comes to building wealth, making money, I've read books on money. I've listened to a lot of people that have told me they've read books, and when I look at their life, I'm like, where is the fruit? Where is the fruit of the books that you have read? You say you consume the Bible a lot. What can I see in your life that is a testimony of what you have read or what you have consumed? Because what you consume, you're supposed to reproduce. If you plant a seed in the soil, right? Let's say you plant a mango seed in the soil, and then the tree starts to grow, and then it grows to a point where you actually don't actually see mango. You wait, maybe to eventually show, and then you still don't see mango. I mean, the knowledge has been deposited, but where is the fruit? Now, in this call, I want to take your attention to the principles for building wealth from the Bible. And I love that I have the ability to share it on this call because when it comes to my wealth journey, to be honest, it's yes, all those financial management things, right? They are very, very important, but it's also biblical. I know we see a lot of unbelievers that are making a lot of money, and these people are actually making it. I'm not talking about fraud. I mean, these people are legit doing the right thing, right? And they are getting the results. And one thing when I have studied their life is that I see that they actually practice Bible principles. Bible principles is no respecter of person. Let me tell you the truth. You feel like, oh, Bible principles should only work for believers because we are believers, we are children of God. It should only work for us. That's not the truth, right? Because the Bible principles are the principles of life. So if you actually apply Bible principles, they actually work for anybody. So a Muslim person can read the Bible, because I've listened to some Muslim people, especially when I go for evangelism or I'm trying to evangelize to an unbeliever, and they'll be like, I've read this your Bible and stuff like that. I'll be like, so they read the Bible, right? And they watch it. They know that, oh, if I do this and do that, I will get this. And they do it. That's why I said the wealth is application. And they actually do it, and they actually produce the results. So I'm going to teach you 5 principles of building wealth from the Bible. Number one is budget. And budgeting, I will keep saying it over and over again, is very, very important. It's very, very important. The book of Luke 14, verse 28, what does the Bible says? The Bible says that suppose one of you wants to build a tower, Won't you first sit down and estimate the cost to see if you have enough money to complete it? That's what the Bible says. So you want to build wealth. Are you not supposed to sit down as an individual and create a plan? Okay, oh, in the next 20 years, I want to be wealthy. Number one, what does wealth or what does being wealthy look like? What will it look like for me? You write it down. Number two, what are the things I need to do on a daily basis to make sure that this happens? Does this mean that I need to start investing? Does this mean I need to engage in diversification? It's not just my one stream of income, it's not just my salary. I need to get other jobs. I need to put money in businesses, right? I mean, or start a business of my own. Excuse me. So budgeting is so important because even the Bible says it, that for you to build anything, you must first sit down and count the cost. And this is why I am an advent advocate of budgeting. In fact, most of the professionals that I have spoken to in the past 2 to 3 years, in fact, some of the professionals that I've spoken to in this month of January, one thing I've realized is that they don't actually have an income problem. Like, the problem is not that you don't have money. It's not. In fact, I had this client of mine that his issue was that he actually had money. Like, in fact, being a financial consultant makes me privileged to some informations that I cannot share with the public, right? And then this guy was earning a lot, because even me that he was meeting to educate him about money, I was like, so people have this money like this. But the amazing thing is that despite the amount of money he had, he could not account for where the money was going to. He just knew that at the end of the month, he was already struggling. For someone that earns that XX amount of money, I was very stunned and very surprised. And then we sat down, started creating a plan. And that plan was budgeting. Okay, before the month starts, where will your money be going to, right? It's not like when your money comes, in fact, as your salary hits your account, you have not even gone home to sit down. Okay, this is where the money will go to. You've already entered supermarket. Okay, give me that box of pizza. Buy me shawarma. This money, I think I want to buy a new phone, right? It's time to buy a new phone, or it's time to buy a new car. Or it's, I need to relocate to a new apartment, right? You don't even budget for where is this money actually going to go to, right? So the Bible says that if you want to build wealth, sit down and plan. Sit down and plan. It cannot be overemphasized. Sit down and plan. Number two, save. One of the principles of building wealth is savings. One of the principles of building wealth is savings. Proverbs 6, verse 8. What does the Bible says? It says, it stores its provision in summer and gathers its food at harvest. It stores its provision in summer and gathers its food at harvest. Meaning that there is a season where you store and there is a season where you can reap harvest. And I feel like we can all relate to Joseph's story, right? Joseph gave an interpretation and wisdom of a 7 years of harvest and farming. I mean, that teaches saving. I mean, if there is nothing else that you can pull out from that story, I think one of the things that you need to learn is it's actually saving. So there was a period where there was nothing, right? There was going to be farming for 7 years. Just imagine farming for 7 years. But they were already in a period where they had plenty. And then, by God's divine wisdom and interpretation of dream, Egypt was supposed to store. During that period, they had plenty, right? And then there will come a period that there will be famine. So in that period, all the things that you've been storing, you will be eating and be enjoying during that period, right? So there's a period of famine, there's a period of harvest. Now, how do I relate it back to our own situation? There could be a period in your life where you're having money that is coming in. In fact, it's called money that you are not using. Probably your elder brother sent you money like 500K, your sister sent you money, or just money that comes from maybe a service you rendered, a product that you have, right? Money that comes in. That's not the time you'll not remember that, I need to hit the restaurant, I need to hit Kilimanjaro, I need to hit maybe Jendol's supermarket, right? Just start or go to ShopRite and start buying all the things that everybody must know that I have made this money, trying to prove that that 1 million enter my account, I will shut down the city. No, right? That is your period of plenty. I'm not a prophetess of doom, but in life there is always a period of tribulation, right? So there is always going to be a period where you won't have much, right? And in that period is the time where you can pull from what you've had before. If you were wise enough to save it, you can pull from it and then you can save it somewhere. I'll give myself as an example. There was a period in time before I started working a 9 to 5. I didn't have I didn't have a job, but there was a job I had before then, right? And during that period, I was always saving. I was saving and investing 20% of my income. I was without job for the period of I think 7 to 8 months. During that period, you can't look at me and say, in fact, nobody, not even in my house, can look at me and say that this girl is suffering. You can't look at me and say I'm suffering. Why? Because I had a stash somewhere. But the divine wisdom of God, during the period where I had something, I was saving and setting aside, right? I was saving and setting aside so that in the period where I don't have, I can pull that money, right? And then use it for my needs, right? Use it to attend to my needs and, the likes, right? And another thing in this call, right? I would want to admonish, and I've taught a lot of people, is that when you want to build a saving plan, right, build three types of saving plan. Number one, a goal based saving plan. Now, what is a goal based saving plan? A goal based saving plan is what are the goals you want to achieve in the year 2025? Of course, they need money. For example, you want to go back to school, you need money to pay your school fees, right? It takes money. Or you want to read more, you need money to buy books. Or you want to do one thing or the other. Most of these goals require money. True or false? True, right? So you need to have a fund that goes to, oh, these are the things I want to achieve. How much money do I need to set aside on a monthly basis to be able to achieve this goal in the next maybe 5 to 7 months or in the next 1 year? Another kind of saving budget you should have is an investment based saving. So there is a part of your income or your business earnings, and be it the kind of audience I'm speaking to, right? A part of your income that is going into investment. So you might not initially know what you want to invest in. Why don't you not create like a fund? Like I use apps like Optimus, I use apps like Carrywise and Piggyvest, where it allows me to create like a wallet, right? Even I think Kuda has that feature, right? You can create a wallet and you can call it investment savings. So you just be putting money there, like out of your income, you'll be putting it, and you just call this investment savings. Probably when you sit down with a financial educator like myself, or somebody that has a good knowledge on investment, like, okay, have been able to save up like 500K or 1 million naira and I want to invest. What would you advise me to invest in? Right? So you've already been putting that money aside. Another kind of saving budget you need to have, very, very importantly, very important, is an emergency fund. An emergency fund. Now, what is an emergency fund? Of course, unforeseen circumstances, God forbid, happens. Emergency happens, right? We don't like it, but it happens. I mean, when I resigned from my job, right, that was even a personal choice. I was left with, okay, no regular income. I mean, I was doing business. I mean, that was an added plus, but you can't compare business income to salary income. It's coming on a monthly basis. You're always getting it. You're always sure that at the end of the month, as long as you have sure done the right thing, right, you'll be paid your salary. So I was without work, right? But I had an emergency fund. I was always saving in a fund for emergency. And during the period of my work, I didn't really have any emergency. So I had like a stash of cash in my account. So during the period I didn't have a job, I was always taking from my emergency fund to actually, buy things that are my needs and essentials, right? So make sure you have these three types of savings: goal based, investment based, and an emergency fund. And I think another biblical principle for building wealth, right? Very important, very, very important, is investments, right? right? I don't think I would do this conference justice if I do not mention investment. Now, what does the Bible say about investment? Ecclesiastes 11, verse 2. The Bible says, invest in 7 ventures, yes, in 8. You do not know what disaster may come upon the land. Invest in 7 ventures because you don't know what disaster may come upon the land. Not to be a prophecy of doom, like I already said about saving. You don't know what will happen in the future, right? There are some people that they hit rock bottom, and then you start hearing that they are selling their land, or they are selling their property, or they are selling their investment, right? They are selling the stocks, securities, and shares they've bought maybe over the years because maybe something has happened. But something happened. Imagine they didn't have that. Imagine they didn't have the land, they didn't have the property, they didn't have any form of investment. What will happen to them? Things happen, right? We don't want them to happen, but they do happen. And for you to protect yourself, right, you need to have investment because even the Bible says so. You need to have investment. As much as saving is important, there is a limit that your savings can do. Investment helps you to multiply money. And then this investment could be an investment in the stock market. But I will say this on this call, that never invest in the stock market or even generally any kind of investment without having a foundational knowledge about it. You see, my story at the beginning, I started investment without knowledge and it cost me something, right? And then when I started to educate myself, I started to learn about investment, right? And it has helped me this far. Another kind of investment you might have is rental income, right? You could buy a land and the land will appreciate. And if you choose to sell over the long haul, you can do that. Or you can invest in REITs, right? Real estate investment trusts, right? Where you don't actually have to buy a physical property, right? You can actually be earning rental income by putting your money into um, properties online, right? Companies that do that is like Stock. I know Stock does that, and some other REITs, right? You can actually buy a land and now start building, and then you can rent it out, right? Let your imagination, be open for the various kinds of investments you can do. You can do government bonds, right? It's every first week of the new month. You can invest in government bonds. These things are not expensive. With as little as 5,000 naira, you can actually start investing. In fact, with as little as 1,000, because when I started my investment journey proper, not the scam, when I started my investment journey, I started with 1,000 naira. I remember clearly it was an SFS fund. That's the name of the company is SFS, right? I started with 1,000 naira. And I'm proud to say that that investment has grown to at least close to, I don't know, last time I checked, I know it was over 500. Well, I can't say that on this call, Sha. But for you to know where I'm coming from, that's basically the reason why I'm sharing this, right? 1,000. There are still investments that you can start with 1,000 naira. Investments you can start with 5,000 naira. So you have no excuse under the surface why you are not investing. Are you telling me that you cannot remove at least 5,000 naira or 1,000 naira from your monthly salary or your business income and invest in securities, invest in government bonds, invest in insurance? If you know you cannot start a business, invest in other people's businesses, right? There are people that have businesses that require support, and because their business is, of course you do your investigation, how much money comes in through this business. If I support you, what is my gain? Of course, if you can't manage yours, you can invest in another person's own, and then you can make money from it. I do that personally. In fact, currently I have 2 businesses in my portfolio that I invest in and I make money from. So you can do something like that. I will give the example of Paul. So Paul was, I would call, like a guy that had multiple streams of income, but I cannot really say in depth, right? Because Paul was a tent maker. He was formerly a prosecutor. Now, in real life context, that's a lawyer, right? So obviously, he must have been earning, I believe, right? If you had to bring it to modern times, he must have been earning salary, right? and he was also an apostle. So, like as a pastor, of course, you'll be probably in. I mean, this is just like an example, right? Be earning money as a pastor. People will sow seed into your life. Another person that was a good investor in the Bible was the Proverbs 31 woman. The Proverbs 31 woman. In fact, she had 7 streams of income. If you want to learn anything about investing, go to Proverbs 31 and go and learn. Now, the fourth thing, quickly, as I wrap up my session, is to build wealth biblically. You need to be a giver. You need to be a giver. Luke 6, verse 38. What does the Bible say? The Bible says that give and it will be given to you. A good measure, pressed down, shaken together, and running over, will be poured into your lap. For with the measure you use, it will be measured to you. I cannot separate building wealth from giving back. How do you give back? You give back to your church. You give back through offering. You give back through tithes. You give back through helping um people that are in need, right? Make sure that you have a budget for giving back. So every month, one of my practices is that I have a budget for giving. So I have a giving to the church, I have a giving to people, right? Make it a practice. You can't build sustainable wealth without giving back. In fact, the people that you look at that are unbelievers that have made a lot of money and, so to say, they are wealthy, they actually practice giving, right? You see that they have organizations that do CSR, corporate social responsibility, where they actually give back to their communities where their organization is based. You see them giving back to education. I mean, go and check Dangote. Dangote has a foundation. It's called Dangote Foundation. UBA has a foundation. It's called UBA Foundation. Go and check. I think it was on the news one time that was it Elon Musk? I stand to be corrected. I think it was Elon Musk that he was giving to I think Rhapsody of Realities, right? This church, Pastor Chris Oyakilume's church. I don't know how true that is, but just imagine that someone like that. In fact, they said he was their highest donor, right? He was the highest donor. So for you to imagine someone you call an unbeliever is doing that, how much more we believers? What is your giving budget? What money have you set aside to give back? And I'm not talking regular tithe and offering. I'm talking about give back to the world. What projects do you have for God to give back and promote his kingdom? I'm going to give an example of a very few people as I close that engaged in giving back. David Green, and I particularly want to mention this guy, R.G. Letone. I don't know if you know R.G. Letone and know his story. R.G. Letone is the guy that built all these moving machines. Think of tractors, all those big machines, earth moving machines, right? That they use for maybe construction works and all these big um big projects, right? Agilotone was given to God on a regular basis. And it came a point that he gave God so much that he gave God 90% of his total earnings. Do you know what it means to give God 90% of your total earnings? Like 90% of all the money that you have been making, you give it to God. Because he had gotten to a point that God saw his heart in giving back, and God kept blessing him. God kept multiplying him. In fact, let me read out some things that R.G. Litone said, some of his quotes. Number one is that I shovel out the money and God shovels it back. But God has a bigger shovel. I shovel out the money, meaning I give God the money, but God shovels it back. But when God is shoveling it back, God has a bigger shovel than the shovel me I'm using to give God. Another thing he said, that it is not about how much money I give God, but how much of his money I keep for myself. Because in the blessings, right, in your earning income is a blessing. How do you give back in appreciation to God? How do you give back in appreciation to God? Another person I quickly want to highlight is Williams Colgate. I'm pretty sure all of us know Colgate toothpaste, right? Williams Colgate, the founder of Colgate, right? He was a giver. He was a believer of Christ, right? And he was a giver. He was always giving 5/10 of his income, giving back to God. So when you hear all these stories of people that built big businesses and were controller of like big wealth in America, like a large portion of the wealth in America, you check it, go and read their lives, and you will see that giving is attributed to it. I don't know anybody here who has watched The Forge. If you have not watched that movie, go and watch it. I think I recommended it to as many people as I could. If you are someone that wants to build a business or you want to have a budget for giving, go and watch that movie. It will actually teach you a lot of lessons, right? And number five, building wealth biblically. This one is my personal practice, right? One thing I do on a daily basis, right, in connecting my faith with building wealth is that I confess wealth scriptures. So every day before I leave my house, all right, I make it a regular practice. There's a at the back of my journal, I write like 5 to 10 scriptures that talk about wealth and God's promise and inheritance for me that is in scripture. And I begin to confess them and pray them. In fact, the title that I gave it, or the heading I gave it, is that Scriptures of Economic Power. Scriptures of economic power. So I write down those scriptures, and in the morning, I begin to confess them. I begin to confess them. What does the Bible says in Exodus 23, verse 25 to 26? That you shall serve the Lord your God, and he shall bless your bread and water, and he will take sickness away from the midst of thee. So I start calling those scriptures out one by one. I start calling those scriptures out one by one continuously. I keep calling them out, and then Lord, this is your promise for me that I will make money. In fact, the Bible says that I will supply all your needs according to your riches in glory. There's another scripture that says that I will make all grace abundant unto you, right? And you will lack nothing. You will lack nothing, right? I speak them over my life because I know that God is accountable to his words. So in my work creation journey, a lot of people might see, it might not even be me, right? If you're someone that practices this, it might see you outside and be like, ah, guy, connect me, show me your plug. How you doing this? Like, you will just gladly say it's God, right? It is God. It's not man. It's just me following Bible principles. It's just doing what the Bible says. If unbelievers are doing it and they are making it, there is a lot of work that the church of Christ has to do. The Bible says that they are waiting for the manifestations of the sons of God. The unbelievers are doing it and they are getting it. They are waiting for us to manifest. If our eyes is on the church, before, like Bishop David we say that he hated that word, that as poor as a church rat. What do you mean? Because they always attributed Christianity with poverty. Why? We had the principles, but we were not applying it. We had the knowledge, but we're not applying it. So if there's anything you want to take out of this conference, is that don't just have knowledge on investing, budgeting, planning. In fact, if you're not already putting these things to practice, start. If that is the issue you have, start them. But if you know them and you are not yet putting them to practice, start to put them to practice. So that it won't be said of you, they look at your life as a believer and they cannot see you producing the fruit after Christ. And after Christ in the things that you do, after Christ in your wealth building journey, right? And like I said, it's a journey gradually. Let no one, and these are just sidebars, let no one put pressure on your wealth creation journey, because what somebody struggled to do for 10 years, God can spotlight your work in one day. And what someone struggled to get for 10 years, you get it in one day. So our journey is very different. Carry God along in your wealth creation journey. Confess the scriptures, confess the right word. Don't say, this is T-pain economy. This T-pain. Another thing, watch your words. They seem like words, but they carry power. If there's anything I've learned from scripture, is that words carry power. Whenever it is someone makes a statement around me, I'll be like, stop talking like that. Right? Stop talking, because me, I don't want to start talking like that, because I know that words carry power. So you need to be very careful in the things you say. I believe that you have taken something out of what I've said, and I want you to implement them. Don't just listen to me and just say, this conference, hey, thank God, oh, she has spoken. I learned a lot. Word. Like Apostle Joshua Selman, all of them shouting word. They won't go back and put it to practice. So go, everything you think you have learned today, go and put them into practice. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Praise. My journal is full. I mean, like so full. Thank you so much. And so we'll be taking some questions now. So I would get questions from the live stream, and I'll read them out to you. So if you have questions and you can hear me right now, please type them out in the comment. Type them out in the comment. Type them out in the comment, and she'll be happy to answer them. Yes, she'll be happy to answer them. If you have questions, please type them out in the comments. Let's take at least two questions. Okay, someone said highly inspiring and in-depth. Thank you so much, Emmanuel. Thank you so much. Do you have any question? At least one question. Let's get at least one question. And Finric, are you in the room? Let me ask that quickly while I look for the question.
Oh, I'm here.
Finric. Oh, amazing. Is here. Okay, great. So our next speaker is here for us already. So I want at least one question before we move forward. But if if we are not getting any question, then we have to move forward. All right. So, Praise, let me ask you a question personally. So, I said at least one question, so I can do the asking, I guess, happily. So, let me do the questioning. Let me ask at least one question. I wrote a lot down. I wrote a lot down. And there was a part where you said, like, that's the part that shocked me the most. If you can't start a business, you can support, or I mean, you can invest in other people's businesses. Like, I mean, that sounds very regular and common, but I've never had someone say it that way before. And so, can you like how? Okay, let me ask this way: how much should we do? Should we just um give them our money and let them do the whole thing, or we can even join them as co-founders or like partners or assistants? Like, what do you think is the best? Like, should we just say, "We'll take my money and then go," or we should be a part of the business a bit so we can at least know what's going on? What do you think is the best approach? If I don't want to be the figurehead, I don't want to be like the frontliner. I don't have that much strength or that much capacity, but I want to like just okay, take my money and do what you want to do. I don't care. Just give me back like interest or profits or whatever. Or I should join her or him as a co-founder or a partner or what have you. Like, what do you think is the best approach?
To be honest, well, the approach you choose to make is dependent on you as a person. So if you want to come in as a co-founder, right, that will require some level of work, right? You're not just putting in money. As a co-founder, it's not just money you're putting down. In fact, most co-founders don't put money down. In fact, they look for investors to invest into their business with their founder, right? So coming in as a co-founder, I don't believe you are coming in as a as an investor. So you can just come in as an investor, and in the sense that okay, let me just use two examples. Number one is when I wanted to start investing in other people's businesses. One of the things I did was that I watched a lot of Shark Tank. I
Okay.
watched a lot of Shark
Wow,
Tank.
that's nice.
I watched a lot of Lions Den, right? I was noting down the questions they were asking, right? They were asking what was your net margin for this business in the past 5 years, right? Because another thing is that you don't want to invest in a business that you have not seen some level of growth, right? And growth, I
Okay.
mean financially and also physically, right? So I started noting down the questions that they were asking them. And then I had some friends. I mean, so far the two businesses in my portfolio are actually my friends, right? I have not ventured outside, and I am not a full-fledged venture capitalist yet, right? It's my long-term plan that if I have a lot of money, right, as I'm building my wealth, it's something I want to do. But one of my friends has a business, and sometimes the basic thing they might need is to buy a very very small machine, or they might need a capital to assistance to order a lot of products. Now, let me use the product line as an example. So they want to order like a huge purchase, right, of product that will generate revenue. So you will return back my money, but for every product you sell, right? Of course, I'm aware of the the quantity of goods that you have. I'm paying for you to be able to acquire, right? I will get my money full back, and then maybe I might get like a 5% on every product sold, right? So that's how I invest in businesses. It could be just their products, right? It could be them buying a machine. So maybe, if, for example, if you want to buy a machine, right? Machine is very capital intensive. I can see that because I run a I run a business, but it has like returns in the long run. So in that kind of case, I add money, right? And then maybe for a period of 6 months, you pay me back my money, but also I earn like a 10% interest on the money you make that month and stuff like that, compared to if you are coming in as a full venture capitalist where you get 20% of the entire company. I haven't started that yet, but I use true products to reap not just the money I've put in, but also to earn percentage income on my investments. So yeah, that's the principle that works for me.
Thank you so much. That's a very bright thing to do, and I just learned a few things also, and I pen them down. And thank you. Come on, invest in my business too. I'll bring in the money. Thank you so much, Fred. Like, I really appreciate this session you just had with us, and it's amazing because I'm sure a lot of people also got like value from the session. So, thank you so much. I am very grateful. So, coming up next is Segun Awoniyi. Like, welcome, brother. Good
I
to
do
have you.
because what's good.
Yeah, very well.
But
So, let me.
the only issue is that I'm not wearing a suit. Am I permitted to speak like that?
Oh my God, don't do that to me. Like, I'm not wearing a suit to see. It's
I'm not
free.
wearing a
So,
suit. How come MB is not wearing a suit? That come on, that's negligence. Who will sue you?
right. I intentionally said, okay,
No
let's not
suit.
wear suits. Let's not be too serious. Like, let me. I don't want to appear like I am the
You
god,
don't
or
like
you get
yeah.
like I'm like you. You're like me. We're friends. So let's
No,
be real with
no,
ourselves. You get. I don't
guys,
want to like put up.
you guys have actually had the previous speaker amazing speech. I've been listening. She was giving it back to back, data packed, insightful. But no, we'll do something. Hmm? I
Yes.
won't, my own time frame of it won't be that long, and it will be less serious. I'm not that serious with it. But now we'll be leaving the biblical verses to Bishop on Sunday, and we'll be leaving suits to Michael. But what we'll be talking about, we're breaking things down into little parts. Do you know
Okay.
why?
Why?
Because if we approach business, wealth, it's always cool when you talk about wealth. It's a big word. I want to build wealth. I want to do this. But now the question is, what is wealth?
Hmm. First question.
Like, what is wealth? Everybody think wealth is money. You know, but is wealth really money? It is not. Mm-mm.
I want to see your face while you're saying these things. Turn on that camera.
Please don't hold the camera. Thank you. So, uh, wealth. Mhm. Wealth is not money. So now the question is, yes, you think I'm very stupid for what I just said, maybe, but I'm not. I'll tell you what it is. But before I do, I'll be breaking down my own part into three components and six different frameworks. So the three components are wealth, wisdom, and happiness. And the other six components or the other six frameworks are I name it ICPAT, honesty, execution, community, building, addition, then data. So can anybody hear me? Am I audible enough? Hello.
From my hand, I believe I can hear you, but let's see if they can hear you on YouTube.
Okay, please do well to ask because I sort of can't see people here, so I don't know. Please, can everybody hear me? Can you please confirm that?
Yes. Can you hear? Can you hear? Okay. They said yes. Someone said yes already.
Okay, thank you. So
Someone
now,
said yes already.
I said what is what? I say what is time? Hmm, time. Pace is when your money works for you. It is when you actually earn with your mind, not your time. And to become wealthy is the simplest thing in this life. The only acting about is executing. Just play long-term games with long-term people. And understand the fact that if you despise wealth, it will elude you. But now it is hard. So our three components will be telling us how simple these things are. And why the six framework will be telling us how to actually go about it. I had the previous speaker was talking about how she invests as an angel investor. Most half of these were actually talking about actual debt financing, which is quite cool. Very good. You can actually build a portfolio with that. So now, the first thing, honesty. You see, sometimes, when we wake up in the morning, we tell ourselves, today will be a good day. But now, the issue is that we always say these things, we do these things. We feel it should be a good day. I'll pass this exam. I'll come out in flying colors. I'm going to America next week. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I'm starting a business. But one thing we never actually take into account is the serious work, the sacrifice that actually comes into play when it's time for you to root for your exam, when it's time for you to actually build a business. Building a business is a very funny concept. The only fun thing about building a business is when you talk about building a business. Building the actual business itself is real work. And now work will not get thank you. You go just the work they go. In fact, safe, you don't even collect salary sometimes. So look at it that way. So you need to be honest with yourself to actually ask, okay, where I am? Okay, where am I? This journey, what am I doing? What am I trying to achieve? What are my shortcomings? It's when you're honest with yourselves that people can actually give you a holistic review about yourself. And you will be humble enough to actually take it. See, I'd like to say almost everyone, or even all of us, are egocentric in a way. Being the fact that someone can tell you, what you're doing is trash. And be like, me, what I'm doing is trash. I've been doing this thing before you were born. So what do you know about this thing that I don't know? The honest, the honest truth is that you're not lying, actually. If you this person is not knowledgeable enough to tell me what I should do, so I can't do it. Feel more. But that's the problem. The simple honesty for us to accept that maybe we might be wrong, maybe we're not, but to actually do some introspection. And now, how do you grow if you don't take feedbacks? And how do you take feedbacks if you're not being honest enough to actually give it space to allow these feedbacks come in? This is actually a difficult place to be. Very difficult.
Hmm.
But the issue is that, like I said, you can say, well, I'll try to do better. But now the question is, will you? You see, it is actually easy to actually drive a Lamborghini truck with your mouth. Nobody to drive unless. Nobody to start business, not smart thing. Nobody to sell suit. Nobody to go, not smart thing. No to get PhD, but this thing is no biggie. Nah, no easy, my G. We go do am. It's very simple. You could just use your money, drive things they go. But now, this takes us to the next framework, execution.
mm.
Now, the hallmark of every great person in history and the biggest losers in history are two things.
Clear, so
The hallmark, the biggest difference between great people and the world set of biggest losers in this life is two things. The first one is good fortune. The second one is execution. Because see, sometimes you can do all the right things and it won't work out. It happens. But more often than not, if you do the right things, it works out. The difference is how you do this right thing, how you do these things. Execution is all that matters. You see, sometimes people will tell you that, um, I want to start this business. I look at them and say, what do you want to be doing? Tell you, when I start this business, we'll grow this with that. With this. Okay, good. So you ask them, when are you starting? They'll tell you, I'm waiting for one money. When it comes, we'll start. Good. So now, in next 2 years again, they'll come. I want to start the business. Then we said they start years ago. The money did not come. Oh, sorry. So when will this one come again? Tell you, there's one of my uncles like that. He says he's going to send me money. So when the money comes, start. You see? Do you know that if the guy had actually started whatever he had then, it's either he fails or that will be his second year in business. And then the funny thing about starting our stuffs, when I'll give guy one cheat code in life. Any day you find yourself not having enough money to start a business, just learn something, then offer it as a service. Think about it. What is the cost of offering a service to someone? Zero. Hi guys, I'm a copywriter. Ideally, maybe I want to build a tech company that allows people to write their stuff better, like Grammarly, but I can't afford it now. And I want to do it. Instead of waiting for my uncle for the next 25 years, what will I do? I'll start offering my services for money. Maybe I can read and write properly, can copyright, I can create content. I'll do it. Offer my service. What will it cost me? Maybe Instagram, social, and what I'll use my WhatsApp. So maybe Instagram, data, and what. And you know, one thing I've actually learned in life is that no matter how horrible you are, how unlucky you might be, somebody will just say one day that they want to patronize you. It could be because they can't afford the better person or something, but they will patronize you. So now, if you are being honest with yourself, to actually know your shortcomings, you pray to God, please God, grant me the knowledge, the wisdom, and the power to overcome this. But now you don't stop at that prayer, you not execute. No, when you execute, and the funny thing about execution is that it doesn't have to be big things. No. People have this very weird idea about business. They feel it is every day that you actually have big wins. So people feel like they are failing if they go through weeks, a month, or without actually telling people that, oh guys, we landed a new investment. Oh guys, we want this. Oh guys. Sometimes it's just about the emotion. You wake up in the morning, you did the same thing you did yesterday and day for yesterday, over and over again. So if it's not working, you look at the drawing board, you make some changes. It is boring. I'll tell you guys the truth. And maybe some of you might want to start a business. And I don't know, don't be discouraged, yeah? But the honest truth is that it is not this sea of highs that people sell to you that when you start a business or your problem, no, all your problem does not go away. No, come on, you don't become invisible. You don't even become more smart. Being a CEO does not make you smart at all. In fact, you can be wealthy and still be a fool. Simple stuff. Doing the same things over and over again. So now your ability to actually do these things is what will actually now set you apart and do these things well. So if you can execute, you can actually take actions. The next thing you should actually do or know is that when you do the same thing over and over again, hmm, do the same thing over and over again, you tend to have the same result. So even while you execute, you should be honest in taking your feedbacks. And much more seriously, you should not be doing the same thing over and over again and expect different results. Because let me do this way. Let me tell you some things. Okay. When it comes to execution and you actually come to a roadblock and you can't decide, just say no. Like you have three options and you can't choose one. Say no. You can maybe do it later, but say no. Because the smarter you get as a business person or as a professional, the slower you read. Because once you put pen to paper, put it on here, and executing day to day and building comes with knowing stuff. And the more things you know, the more secrets you might have to keep. Because at the end of the day, trade secrets, business secrets, corporate secrets, and the more secrets the less happy you're going to be. It's just how it is. So that's why sometimes you people become way successful over time and they become bland. So that's why even while actually trying to be the best person, the best man you want to be, the best financial person you want to be, you should actually give a room for peace, quiet, and happiness. Don't become so soaked in that life that you now become a bland person. Because I will tell you something. You see some amount of money sometimes, and you become like it looks like your dopamine receptor is having issues. You don't feel it anymore. So don't become that guy. No, don't. It's hard, but please don't. No, the next thing is actually building a community. You guys might actually think, how will I build a community? Nobody knows me. But now, think about it this way. Hmm? If the 300 or 200 people checking your stuff out, following you on Instagram, stand in the same room, and are shouting at the same time, can you hear yourself? You can't. Social media gives us this illusion of 200 is small, 100 is small, 1,000 is small. Because obviously now, TikTok has 1 billion users and you have just 200. So how will you do it? Community. When you actually build a community for yourself, you can always use it as a springboard to launch stuff, to learn, to iterate. And the concept around building a community is not that. People make it look so hard, but it's simple. Just build something with people that you have common interest with. Let's say, for example, you run a business that builds stuff for businesses. You build a community for business people. But now, this is a cheat code. If you guys discuss business every day, you become tired. Because let me tell you something. If when you start the business, start reading all your financial books and all, capital stack, finance, mezzanine debt, mezzanine fidelity, this, that, leverage finance, by LBU, you get tired. You guys should know that business is a continuous thing, and every day there will be something unique that happens that you learn from. So the conversation shifts to where you guys are learning continuously, not just downloading what you have read to each other. Because at the end of the day, when you guys are done discussing about save, VCs, private lending, this and that, what will you guys talk about? So you guys have building a business in common. You share your daily challenges. Even sometimes you don't just talk about business. Talk about football, talk about a movie, Netflix, talk about church. Like, how you doing? It's a special life. Good, good. Bien, estoy bien. A community. Because I won't lie to you. hmm, On the road to building amazing stuffs, things can get really lonely. And now when things become lonely, you know, the only one true person that will never leave you is God. God will always be with you. Trust me. Sometimes, yeah, you will mess things up. But you'll always be smiling and expecting to come back. Oh, my son, come back to me. Daughter, he will never chase you out. But the other thing is actually the community you build. Because obviously now, God cannot really sit down with you and start cracking jokes with you. There are too many people on it that he's taking care of. But your community, you can actually crack jokes with them. Like, being a good Christian doesn't mean you should be a fool. You can't stand up and start talking to you, say you're talking to God, except you're praying or something. So, but you can actually have a chat with your friend. These friends are who you actually build your community around. So when things get hard, you guys share your ideas, bounce ideas off each other. You tell each other, oh yeah, it's just like that. It gets better. It makes failure way more easy to accept. And I tell you this, it is not about being a pessimistic person. Failures are real. And people tell you that you didn't fail, you just found a way it didn't work. No, come on, you failed. That's why you have to be honest with yourself. And you know what? Being honest with yourself and accepting that you failed does not mean that you didn't try. Come on. No. He who does not try doesn't fail. And that's the biggest failure in life. So you tried your best. It didn't work out. But you have learned. But accepting that you fail makes you know that, oh, I failed. Now I can actually do things in a better way. So if you have friends that you can actually go through the motion with, you guys can actually share things with each other. It's the life easy. Yeah? And at the end of the day too, it's a conscious decision to be happy, to change yourself in the face of even not too encouraging situations, to face it head on. Then the fourth one I will be talking about is building. Everybody talks about building a business, blah 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 blah. It's always fun, all funs and games. But it is not. It is not a joke when you actually look at it from another perspective. So now, if you want to build a business, the first question you should be asking yourself is that do I have the temperament to actually build a business? You don't build a business because you can write codes or because you have money. No, come on, you use your money. There are people that are actually better than you in building a business. Sometimes you talk to them. There's nothing bad in taking a lesser role in your company to do what you are best at doing and let who can do the management job to the management job. Sometimes people feel the CEO is who matters in a company. And maybe yes, but sometimes not everybody can be the CEO. Maybe some of us are never cut out to be CEOs. Some of us are better as chief operating officers. Some are better at being the CTO. Some are better at just managing products. Some are better at selling deals for the business or the company. So you need to know what you are good at, build on it, and leverage on it. Not just build, leverage, like use as a leverage. Because in life, leverage is important. You know, that moat, what nobody in this life have over you. You need to always take it along with you and gracefully shove it in people's faces. They tell you that you should be humble. Come on. Believe in a world where you need to talk about what you do. So talk about it. Believe in a world where people want to see what you do. So all that soft pedaling and moving here and there. Come on. No, this is 2025. If you can do something, tell people you can do it. Because the more people you tell, the more clients you have, or the more companies actually want to work with you. Then the next one is a bit tricky, is adding. And under this, we'll be talking extensively about adding value, adding knowledge, adding pricing to what you do. How you can actually set pricing. You know, there are people that do a lot of stuff, amazing stuff. They even have a community, but they always have issues with pricing. But now, do you know that you would think I'm talking about people underpricing themselves? No, come on. I'll be taking the other route. I'm talking about people overpricing themselves. You see, Nigeria is a very funny community. People tell you that people build stuffs, hmm, and they tell you it is luxury. So now, when you question the decision behind it being luxury, they get defensive. Do you know why? Because we are a community where everything we do is based on the price. But now, is the price the only thing that makes something luxurious? No. Is price the only thing that makes something luxury? No. Then what is luxury? Luxury is simultaneously equals to branding. And what is branding? Is how you feel. You know, how you feel. Let me give you an example. If you lodge in Eco Atlantic, hmm, and let's say you lodge in Holiday Inns at Manchester, and you're in their penthouse, I promise you one thing: there's a stark difference in the two. Trust me. Trust me. From experience, the difference is clear. And I did some calculations. They're almost the same price. It's funny enough. In fact, that's even more expensive, almost more expensive. So. I think this hotel, Bleeding Hotel at Muritala, the charge dollar. You have to, your view be executive private jet lounge. That's the only food in there. Not like you don't offer that thing when I come and shite. So I'm not saying you should undervalue yourself. No, come on. You have you have things to do with your money too. But rightly pricing yourself is important because it, it puts your feet on the ground. One, two, you actually grow. You know, people just wake up someday, they say they want to learn something, and after doing that thing, they take they take one headshot, and the next thing they start doing is start parading themselves as seniors in that field. You know, how about you learn, you know things, so that you can become well grounded, so that when you actually now get into that room that you're actually posturing to get into, you can have a seat at the table. See, the what I like about Michael, he's very methodical. In 2023, he told me, said, I want to run MSc in finance. I said, why? He said, because I like numbers. I said, cool. Then, months after, he did FBS. Cool. Then he wanted to launch something. He wanted to launch something in September. And since April, was drafting plans and asking questions. Mr. Suits wanted to launch M.B.A. The suits, all that. He was making plans. He was asking questions. The supply chain, this and that. And the more question he was asking, the more intriguing it was getting because he was taking those feedbacks in, churning it out as quick as possible, learning, you know. While doing that, he was actually building the online presence little by little, little by little, little by little. Hmm. And sometimes when you tell people that are doing amazing stuff in their face, they feel you're trying to mind them or you're just trying to praise them. But yeah, it's just something great. You know, that ability to actually go through the motion, slowly learn, slowly get better, you know, building a community, and executing everything you're learning. And don't just wake up and say, boom, you see, I want to teach you guys how to beef. Now, come on. How it's like okay, it's like having fake dreads and teaching people about patience. It doesn't really correlate because if you're not patient enough to grow your hair to become dreads, how will you teach me about patience? It's simple. So when you build and when you add price into something, ensure it's worth it. The way people feel about it is worth it. Obvious to you, to the unit economics is worth it. And price in a way that there's a room for growth. Don't shoot yourself to the very top where when they burst your bubble, you fall down to the ground. You see, I've seen a number of people tell you they're this, they're that, and later on the bubble got busted, and it's not always nice at all. It's not always nice. The last thing is data. This part is hard. This part is where sometimes, as a Christian, it's hard because sometimes your godly self might want to, do things for people because of you. It's the right thing to do. It is good to do it. But data says no. And when it comes to business, you need to be objective. Objectivity is a hallmark of a great business person. And to be objective, you need to be data oriented, data oriented. Your numbers are saying A. You follow your numbers because numbers don't lie. No, it is there. Numbers don't lie. Like if you look at your numbers and assess it very well, you know what is coming. And the more you can actually know what is coming, the more you can prepare yourself. So it is just how it is. And people find it hard. People find it really hard. But it is just it. Follow your data and escape competition by being authentic with yourself. Redefine what you're doing. Keep changing it, keep adding this and that to it, keep getting better, keep learning, but follow data no matter what. Follow data. So I'm very sure you guys might be expecting me to talk about stocks and how to build wealth, but I think it's actually funny if I actually come here to tell everybody how to build wealth without actually talking about the basics. If you do the basics, and you get basics right, you will make money. Wealth comes through ownership and compound interest. But the first thing is not for you to just say you want to be wealthy. It's for you to be willing to put in the work, even on days when you don't feel like. And yeah, people say tell me that then positive affirmations are good. Yeah. But do you know me? I'm not a fan of positive affirmations like because this is real life. Bad days, there'll be bad days. Yes. But what actually matters is how you're actually going to how you're actually going to, carry yourself when the bad day comes. Okay, imagine this. Nvidia on top of the world in the last 2 years. Then a little known hedge fund in China launches DeepSeek. Then Nvidia loses 300 billion in market value in a one day. How will you feel being the CEO of Nvidia? Will you be sad? No, you shouldn't be sad because 4 years ago Nvidia is actually worth way less. One, two, the fundamentals are there. But does it still mean it's not a bad day? But does it make it a bad life? No. Does it make it a bad year? No. Will he stop functioning as a good CEO? No. So that's it, guys. If you want to build stuff, be honest with yourselves, be ready to execute, be willing to take feedbacks, and don't play with ownership. Because the true way to be well in this life is to own something. But don't also fall into the people that tell you that Your 9 to 5 is what they pay you to forget your dream. And come on, come on, come on. Oh. But don't just really 9 to 5. So yeah, guys, jokes apart, that's it. So yeah, thank you very much. Your questions can come in.
Like, thank you very much, bro. Like the fact that you made it easy, like sincerely, like you made it very easy. And one thing is certain, like anybody can, like you make me feel like anybody can do it. Like I have to find it out when you said if you get the basics right, work will come. Like sometimes we get lost when we're focused on the big things, the big guys, trying to get it all figured out at once and all those things. Then we forget the basics. So let's get questions. Ask questions, please. If you're hearing this right now, please ask questions. Ask questions. Um, let's get at least one question. Let's get at least one question. Then we hit the ground rolling for the first day. But like, okay, if you listen to what Segun Awoniyi said to us, and you're still here right now, I want you to just tell me how that session was in the comments. You don't like even if you have a question. Just tell me like it was powerful. It was say something. If you listen to what you just delivered to us right now, I want to be sure people are still here with me. So in the comments, type something about the session. How was it for you? How was that session for you? I want to know in the comment section, like on YouTube. If you okay, someone said it was great. Like enjoy the practicality. Like honestly, it was practical. To be honest, someone else said Shegun is such a wise man. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much. So I, I wish like at least one person would have a question for anyone. I wish at least someone said I came in at the right time. Thank you so much, Shegun. Really, okay, amazing, amazing. Okay, so like I did with the first speaker, eventually I had to be the one to ask the question, which I do exactly like, but I guess I'll be the one to ask you a question again, bro. So now, are you still with me? Because I want to like let's there's this thing I really want to ask you. Like I plan to ask you when you're live, and I'm glad I'm getting that chance right now. And what's it? You know, since I met you, now I'll come from a personal place, then from like a stranger place now. Since I met you, you broke so many myths like about finance, about wealth, because there were so many myths that I unconsciously had in my head. For example, like I used to think, you know, making money before you can make money, you have to be so serious and so, do something very, very big and intensive and all that. And then after I met you, I stayed true and tuned to your WhatsApp status a lot. Like anything you post, I always read them. And then okay, then I began. And I want you to tell me like one or two things that seems to be true, but it's not true. Let me ask you that way. Like a myth, a popular myth, at least one. If there are more, please tell us that we've so much accepted to be true, but it's not true. Like for example, now let me give you an example. Like somebody saying something like what example can I give? Let me say a popular myth. Like for someone says practice make perfect. This is just an example. Is it really true? But now let's bring it down to like wealth creation. Someone said something yesterday like you can't become wealthy doing 9 to 5. I was in a setting yesterday like Then the person who was speaking said it that you can't become wealthy doing 9 to 5. It raised an argument in the whole place. People were arguing back and forth. So there are these popular statements people make online on the internet that seems to be true. Are they really true? Or are they lies? Like if you know of any popular ones that you've always hated hearing in quotes, please break the myth right now to us. Like break that blockbuster, break the myth. It's a myth, break it to us right now. Break it for us. Yeah, I'm sure. Um did you get the question?
Yeah. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
I
Yes.
think I was muted for a minute. Okay. Let me
Oh,
start.
okay.
The first one I'll be starting with is what you just said. 9 to 5. See, guys, people tell you you can't build wealth with 9 to 5. But they forget something. That it is not really the job, the salary that you're actually going to use to build wealth. It's what you do with the salary. So let's say, for example, now I'm getting paid and I'm actually saving my money, doing stuff with it. I can build wealth. You can start a business and all that's tomorrow too. There are these things. There's no one size fits all. And the business you are starting is the goal not is the goal not making it the next 5 later. People actually get work there. They had the job they had. They put it in their CV and their LinkedIn. That's what you want to do. You know, and also you don't really need a lot of stuff to start sometimes. When it comes to building or creating wealth, just start sometimes. You will make mistake, yes, but you will learn and you will get better. And also too, when it comes to money, people will tell you that you should you should uh, you should live a fake life and all that. No, come on, no, don't do that. No, no, no. Don't go broke trying to impress someone. No. But yeah, wear M.B.A suits. They're not that expensive. Yeah. Dress neatly, dress nice, smell nice, be confident. When you speak, let people know that you know what you're saying. You might be saying nonsense too, but still be confident. But when it comes to building stuffs, mm, do it at your pace. Don't because somebody used all their money to buy a house now. Maybe they have another money coming. Use all your money to buy a house. Nothing's coming for you. I'm not saying you should not buy a house, but you should do things at your pace. Know your own risk. Your own risk appetite. And also, there's really no amount of money on earth that is unmakeable for you. People will tell you that 1 billion is not money. Is it? Maybe it is. But we have this client that will disburse 1 billion to their users every Monday. Trust me, you can make it. I don't have 1 billion though, but you can make it. So don't limit yourself to a place, a location, a particular mindset to what you can do, what you can make. No, no, come on. You can be the best in whatever you do. Just be honest with yourself, be ready to work, and maybe some good fortune too. But yeah, and what's the last thing I like to say about wealth creation? It doesn't hurt to seek help when things are not going right. Ask someone that knows about it. When things are not going okay, seek mentorship. Pray. And the last one I would say might be a bit controversial, but being the fact that your pastor is a good pastor does not mean your pastor is a good financial analyst. Talk to your financial analyst, people that went to school to study it. When you have issues, they will help you. When you want to, so don't just be taking advice from anyone. Come on, this is your money we're talking about. We need people that are certified in these things. Just like you can't go to your pastor for a surgical operation because it's actually not your pastor is a surgeon, except he is. So Your pastor, you respect him, is good, yes, is holy, yes, but doesn't mean he's the best financial distance. So talk to people that actually know these things, that is their work, you know. So I think that should be all. That should be all. Any other questions?
You know, the final thing you said, I have this theory about it that I want to put in a video soon, like real soon. And you know, I thought about it someday. That was like during the course of this week. So
Yeah.
it's not coincidence that you actually mentioned it also. Like I thought about it, I said to myself, I said, okay, like you said, this might be controversial, yes, but I remember I thought about this and I won't even lie about it. I said to myself, I said, do you know that before I genuinely feel that before a pastor, as it were, can come and talk to me about wealth, like teach me about wealth, what have you built apart
Simple.
from the
What have
church?
you built? What have you
Like
built?
you have a good church, yes. You can teach me about ministry, yes. But what business have you started? Where is that business right now? Do you know the first time I met you? If you remember very okay, no, not like the last time I met you. The first time I got invested in you, bro, you might have forgotten. Was this story makes me laugh anytime I remember it. You said something on your WhatsApp. You said, be careful who you listen to for advices. Don't go to someone who has never made 50 million naira, seeking an advice to make 50 million naira. I was angry that day.
Oh,
That was a long time ago, like 2 years or something ago. Like it was a long time ago. I was angry in my spirit. I like, who is this guy? Is this pride? Like, why is he so proud? Then I challenged him the DM. I said, you that are talking, oh, like, how much have you made? I was just angry, like, why is he saying this with so much confidence? Like, how much has he made that makes him talk this much? Then I didn't even know much about you. I think I just got a number from praise, then whatever praise. So you said something like, you said, well, you made enough to buy a Lamborghini. Like, I think you said a second hand Lamborghini or something like that,
no,
a
G-Wagon,
Nigerian
actually.
Lamborghini.
It's G-Wagon.
I remember, like, it was a car. I said, okay, immediately, immediately that night or the next day, I asked you about M.B.A. Friendly Business School and I enrolled. Why? Because you just did what you just said. Like, so that is how it works. Like, don't be careful who you listen to. When a person does not have the future you desire as their own present or past, I don't exactly think you should blindly just follow what they say. You can listen to what they say, scrutinize it, check it out, and then probably accept it or debunk it. For example, now if you check my YouTube page or my Instagram page, people you will see me following or subscribe to are people who are currently manifesting what I hope to manifest in a few months or few years from now. You see me listening to Myron Golden, Dan Locke, Alex Omozi, and these people. They are guys that they like the life I want to live, the things I want to be doing in the next few years, are what they are already doing. They've been doing for like a decade or more, and that is how life should be. Like there's this thing I should tell people that don't have don't have like general mentors or general fathers or general role models. When you need spiritual help, there should be a mentor that you can call or friend that you can call. Because that person can help you with spiritual does not mean the person can help you with finance. So, like as I am now, yeah, I have quite a number of people that I look up to and I learn from mentors and friends and fathers. When the need is about finance, I know who to call, who to text. Hello, sir. I have this idea I'm thinking of, and then this is the idea. This is what I want to do with it, and I send the message, and then we talk about we should schedule a call, and then we talk about it extensively. When I have something that is about emotions, like girlfriend, marital, all those things you get, I know how to call that. This is what is happening in my love life. Just talking about that, for example. Then, if it is about what have you, like education, if I want to get a result in an exam, I know which friend to call. The alpha bro. I have this exam coming up next week. I need to prepare, but I'm struggling to prepare. I know who to text. They all will answer me perfectly in those things they are good at. So that should be our take home today. Don't blindly follow people because they are your role models or your mentors. Have selective mentorship. Get selective mentorship, selective models. Know who to ask about what. And yes, before we end this session tonight, I want, if you are still live on YouTube right now, I want you to tell me at least one thing you picked from today's session from the two speakers, please. I can't end this session without asking you this question. Like, mention one thing you've learned tonight in this Faith and Finance Conference Day 1. If I don't get at least three, I won't shut down tonight. Mention at least one thing you learned from the two speakers that spoke to us tonight. And if you are on this live right now and you're not yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do that now. If you found this helpful and impactful, stay tuned to the channel. The conference continues tomorrow, yes, 6 p.m. prompt. But I want to hear feedback from our listeners tonight. Like, tell me at least one thing you learned from tonight's sessions. We've heard from Praise Adeola and we've heard from Segun Awoniyi. Powerful sessions. I've learned a lot. My journal is full, to be honest, like full. I've learned a lot, but I want to be sure somebody else learned at least one new thing today. Uh, please. So who goes first? I'm waiting. I'm on the lookout at the comment section on YouTube. Tell me what you learned tonight. At least one thing that you picked from tonight's session. What will you do differently from what you learned? Like, tell me something, an action word or a word of what you learned, what you now know better, what you now know what to like. You now know what to do better now. I want to hear them. Feedbacks help a lot. So, what's your take-home point from tonight's session? Okay. Praise. Someone said, "Can I get the name of the movie you made?" Praise mentioned. Was it Forge or which one? Which other one did you mention?
I think it was the Forge, right? It
Because
was
I
the
remember
Forge.
yes, yes, the Forge. So I hope the person just had it again now. The Forge. That's the title. Movie title. The Forge. So please, what did we? I hope people know that there's something I learned recently from Twitter that you need to learn how to put yourself out there. If you're here live right now, you should be able to. I mean, I'm not asking you to come and say it in a video. Just type it out what you learned. There's a guy that tagged Sevilla FC for a trial on Twitter, and the handler of Sevilla FC, that's a football club in Spain, jokingly said, "If you can get, I think, 100K retweets, we'll give you a trial at Sevilla Football Club in Spain." The guy saw it as a joke, right? And the Nigerian guy said, "100K retweets, no problem. Nigeria people, they got me." And as we speak, the video was released this evening today that the guy has now been selected and qualified to come and do a trial because that tweet got over 100K retweets. But how did it happen? He said something, he spoke, he tagged them, he asked, he put himself out there. Lawrence also said something that I saw on YouTube randomly, I think on YouTube or TikTok. I just saw it randomly on social media from Lawrence Oyo. He said, "Favor follows visibility. Favor follows visibility. I can't help you, favor you, have mercy on you if I don't even know you exist." So this is the time to start practicing these things. Drop a comment and tell me what you learned from the conference. Stay it out. Who knows? Somebody can see what you just commented and then comment on that. You guys conference, become business partners, and then that's how it goes. You must learn how to like speak, even physically and online on platforms like this. So, which is about someone said, okay, someone just said, I learned that in business I have to be objective. Objective. Yeah, that reminds me of what Segun Awoniyi said. He said, follow the numbers, don't lie to yourself. Let me share this story as I round up tonight's session. when MBA launched, when MBA launched, I realized that I wasn't getting enough sales as I projected, and that taught me a lesson that has changed everything about my business game. Stop forcing people who are not interested in your value, in your product, in your service. Stop forcing them to buy it. Instead, put yourself in the faces of those who already need what you are selling. That was what changed the game for me. On my WhatsApp, they don't want a suit. If I'm posting every day, they will admire the suit pictures and move on with their lives. Instead, why not go to Facebook and run ads? And Facebook already knows those who are searching about getting a suit. Facebook will now put M.B.A the brand in their faces as an option for them to get a suit from. And then they click on the link that brings them to our DM, and we close the sale. This changed the game for me. Follow data, follow the numbers. Don't lie to yourself. Don't give yourself false hopes. Don't lie to yourself. Be honest with yourself. Like Segun Awoniyi said, since then, I created a weekly budget to run ads on Meta, that's Facebook, Instagram, and Messenger of Meta apps. So I don't stress about it anymore. I have the budget, I put the ads out there, they come to my DM, they buy what they want. If I have what they want to buy, and I smile, they smile. So stop forcing your WhatsApp contacts to buy what they don't need. They don't need that service. Instead, go out, go out, put yourself in the faces of those who already need what you are offering. There's someone out there that needs to buy a book on how to start fashion design. If you run the ads, there's a chance that Facebook will take your ad to their person's face. So instead of forcing your 200 contacts on WhatsApp to come and buy your book on fashion design, run ads. Why? More people are out there that need what you are offering. You'll be frustrated if you are forcing those who don't need you to buy what you're selling. That changed the game for me, and it might change the game for someone right now, right here. So don't lie to yourself. Don't say one day when the sales will come. No, sales may not come. Go and put yourself out there in the faces of those who already need what you are selling. And I hope this bless someone whenever they get to hear this. So thank you everyone for staying tuned to this first day of the Faith and Finance Conference. Okay, someone said I learned about a different way of giving and saving. Wow, thank you. I'm glad you learned that. If you keep doing the same thing the same way, you will keep getting the same results. If you want a different result, do things differently. Absolutely correct. Absolutely correct. So stay blessed. I'll see you tomorrow. Subscribe to the channel, turn on the notification bell. Good night.